At one of the general staff meetings, we had quite a few questions about Social Security benefits. And at that time, I said I would contact Social Security and make arrangements for someone to come out and address our group. And we're very glad to have Mr. Rufus Gaston from Social Security here today to speak with us. The format is that he will give his presentation. It will take about an hour or so. And at that time, we'll open it up for some questions and answers. This is meant to be a general overview and a chance to ask general questions. He won't be able to get into specifics on everyone's individual issue. However, at the end of the presentation today, you can send me some questions, in which case I will forward the questions to Mr. Gaston so we can get more information for those who may want some individual information. Mr. Gaston has been with Social Security Administration for 37 years. In his current capacity, he is the Public Affairs Specialist for Metro Detroit, one of two, I believe. And he's been in Public Affairs for Social Security since 2003. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Rufus Gaston from Social Security Administration. When I was checking out this poster you have here with Patty Duke and George Takei, and I'm thinking if Social Security is around for my kids, maybe we'll see Beyonce and Justin Bieber up there talking about their Social Security benefits.
Maybe so. But you know what? We did a study to try to determine who should we use as our spokesperson, and they came up with this group. In fact, we went out and we talked to young people, and we asked them, this was originally when it was just Patty Duke, and asked them, do they know who Patty Duke was? And many of the young people that we asked, they said, who? So we knew then we weren't talking to that we were talking to the wrong group. So when we ask people who know who Patty Duke is, that's the group that we're supposed to be talking to. So if you all know who Patty Duke is, who knows who Patty Duke is? Okay, I'm talking to the right group here today. Who can tell me how old Social Security is? How long has Social Security been around?
34, 39, 33, 36.
Social Security, on August 15th, celebrated our 76th anniversary. Been around providing services for the American people. The first person that received Social Security worked under the system for 1 day. His name was Mr. Ackerman, and he was a porter from Cleveland, Ohio. And he put into the system 1 nickel. And we gave him a fat check of 17 cents. Now, 17 cents. Now, if you were to give that to your kids or your grandkids, what would they tell you? Choice words for you, I'm sure. Well, Social Security continued to pay lump sum payments until in January 1940, and that's when we began to pay out monthly payments. And that's the way we pay checks now. The first person to receive a monthly check was named Miss Ida B. Fuller. Miss Fuller started getting her Social Security check January 1940. And she continued to receive her payments until January 1975. She received Social Security benefits for 35 years. Now, we stopped her checks when she turned 100. Well, that's when she passed away. So she received, when she started, $22.54. Social Security served her well. Would you agree? Now, we should be so blessed or so lucky to receive payments for 35 years. And hopefully we can help you all in that area today. Social Security continued to expand. And in 1956, the disability program came into being. 1965, the Medicare program. 1972, the SSI program. And in 2003, the new Medicare Part D program. Social Security was never, ever meant to be the only benefit that you receive when you retire. It was never meant to be that. It was always meant to be part of your retirement package. Now, we know that a lot of people, most people in fact, retire just one time. How many people plan to retire more than one time? Oh, you're going to retire several times. Good. Well, for most of us, we're only going to retire one time, so we need some help in helping us with that retirement decision. Social Security has some information. You can go to www.mymoney.gov and get information about Social Security retirement system and all of the other governmental systems that we have out there. There's some great tools there, and we request that you go there to get them. As I said, Social Security was never meant to be the only benefit you receive. It was always meant to be part of your retirement package that includes your pensions, your savings, your investments. And together, that makes up your retirement portfolio. But did you know that if we were to take Social Security benefits away from seniors, nearly a third of seniors would be below the federal poverty guidelines? So Social Security does serve its purpose. Now, I want you to think back now. I want you to think back 20 years ago. And I want you to think of your age 20 years ago. And I want you to think of there's going to be some type of fair or an exhibit. And Social Security is one of the exhibitors at the fair. Now, your age 20 years ago, would Social Security be one of the first booths that you would go to? Probably not, right? Because you're young, you're thinking, Social Security for who? Who was Social Security for when you were young? Who do you think it was for? Okay. Absolutely. There you go. There you go. Well, Social Security does pay the lion's share of our benefits to retirees. And we pay out 55 million checks every month. But it's not just for retirees. Social Security is for all Americans. If you look at this slide, it shows you that nearly 8.3 disabled people receive Social Security. They're not full retirement age. Widow and widowers, nearly 5 million, and they are not retirement age. And nearly 2 million children who are not retirement age receive Social Security. So when you leave here today, I'm going to proclaim each one of you, with Edna's permission, that you all can be ambassadors of Social Security. So when you leave here today, I'm going to ask each and every one of you to spread the word that Social Security is not just for retirees. Now, can I depend on everybody to do that?
Amen.
And my daddy was a minister. Well, who pays for Social Security? Well, you do. If you're under the Social Security system. The Social Security system up to last year, that was 2010, people that were under the system put in 7.65%. Their employer put in 7.65%. Together that made up 15.3%. And that covered you for your gross earnings. But this year, for people who are under the Social Security system, they received a raise. A raise of 2% because the Social Security tax went down from 6.2% to 4.2%. Now, what happens to that money that your employer, when you work under the system, put in and you put in? Well, that money is used to pay benefits right now. Social Security has always been a pay-as-you-go system. The people that work pay for the ones that receive Social Security benefits. And we found out who is causing all the problems that Social Security has. I don't know if you can see them, we kind of hide them there. These are the ones who are the real criminals. No, they're not criminals. Those are just adorable kids. But this slide does point out the birth rate in the United States. As you can see on average, when 1930s came around, there was almost 3.5 births. And look what happened when World War II came. You see it? See that little swagger there? That's when World War II came. There was a real drop in the birth rate. And you see that little pip on the upswing there? That was when the guys returned home from the service. Now, we all say Social Security, they were glad to see their wives when they returned home. That's why there's a few more births there. And I'm looking at this group, I'm not so sure you guys know about this. I'm not sure. Have any of you in here ever heard of Woodstock? Well, you all remember those tie-dye shirts and those peace signs? There was a saying, there was a slogan. What was it? Make love, now. Oh, look at love. Love was being made, wasn't it? Babies were born all over the place. But look what happened after the 60s. The birth rate in the United States has been pretty much at 2 births for every female. Well, it's important to note that back in 1960, there were 5 people working for every 1 person who received a Social Security check. Today, there are 3 people working for every 1 person who receives a Social Security check. And by the year 2035, that number will drop to just 2 people working for every 1 person who receives a Social Security check. And in America, we're getting older. In 1946, there were just 11 million people in the United States over the age of 65. Now we're looking at nearly 40 million people over the age of 65. And perhaps you've heard this term, baby boomer. Have any of you ever heard that? Of course you have. You're a boomer, huh? Well, I'm a boomer. You all remember the Pepsi commercial? 80 million people over the age of 65. And that points out something that's important to Social Security, because that 80 million people, that's 80 million people over the next 20 years will be coming in to sign up for Social Security. That's 10,000 people every day walking into our local Social Security offices to sign up for Social Security benefits. So it's quite a few people. Now there are 1,600 Social Security offices across the United States. So if you have an issue or concern with Social Security, instead of going into the office, how many of you would like to spend a day with us at Social Security? Well, certainly you wouldn't want to spend a day with us. You have more important things to do with your life. If you were to sign up for Social Security and you meet the requirements, we suggest that you go online. Go online and sign up. And that's what George Sakai and Patty Duke are talking about, the Boldly Go campaign. You can go online and sign up for Social Security in as little as 15 minutes. Can you imagine one of those cold winter days when your car's not in the garage and you have to go out and start it up? Can you imagine how long it takes then to go into the Social Security office and spend your time there? Well, certainly you want to go online if you can. You can stay at home in the nice confines of your home and watch The Days of My Life. Oh, they don't come on, they don't do it. Whatever. Maybe one of the court cases. You can watch those now. You can do that rather than signing up for Social Security. And we encourage people to use that as the preferred method. We can't say it's the preferred, but I say as the preferred method. Okay, whoops. Here you go. All right. Look at this slide, and it tells you the life expectancy in the United States. On average, men tend to live to age 81 and women to age 85. Now, can anyone tell me why men don't live as long as women?
Because they're married.
And I should have said, guys, be careful.
You want to take that one?
Well, obviously, if we knew the answer to that, it would be 85. We don't know the answer. But here's the thing that happened with Social Security the last few years. Last year and the year before, there was no raise in Social Security. 2009 and 2010, there was no raise. And the raise comes based upon the Consumer Price Index, which comes out at the end of the third quarter of each year. So 2009, 2010, there was no raise. But in 2008, there was a large raise. And we always call it a true raise. A true raise because back in 2008, Social Security gave people or beneficiaries 5.8%. And why was it true? Because normally when Social Security benefits go up, your Medicare premium also goes up. But that year, the premium did not go up. So people did actually receive a raise, 5.8%. Okay. This is an example of what inflation does. And Social Security, we always say that Social Security is ahead of the curve when it comes to inflation. A lot of benefits, a lot of programs don't have the coverage that Social Security have with benefits for disability and survivors benefits. We do also know that if you were to receive Social Security benefits, if you were receiving over $34,000 per year, a part of that money would be taxed. That's important to know. If you were to get Social Security, a part of that benefit may be taxed. Now, where does the money come from for Social Security? We already talked about the payroll deduction that comes from you and your employer. There's trust fund interest, And then there's that taxation of benefits that we just mentioned. Social Security, how sovereign is it?